Stop blaming water. A practical guide to restful sleep without late-night bathroom trips. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. If you keep waking up at night to use the bathroom, just stop drinking so much water. And so you did. You cut back. You powered through the evening feeling parched. You stared at your water bottle like it was the enemy. You even stopped having that last cup of tea you used to enjoy. Yet nothing changed. 2 in the morning. There it is again. That familiar pressure pulling you out of deep sleep, forcing you down the cold hallway to the bathroom. You lie back down, frustrated, wondering why nothing works. Here's what nobody tells you. For most people struggling with nighttime bathroom trips, water isn't the villain. It never was. Blaming your water intake is like blaming the rain for a leaky roof. The rain isn't the problem. The holes are, and tonight, we're going to find every single hole in your routine that's been sabotaging your sleep for years, without you ever knowing. What you're about to learn has helped countless people finally experience what they thought was impossible: a full, unbroken night of restorative sleep. Some of these strategies will seem almost too simple. Others will completely change how you think about your body after dark. But I need you to stay with me, because the most powerful technique we'll cover has nothing to do with what enters your mouth and everything to do with what's happening below your knees right now as you're watching this. Let's settle this once and for all. Your body needs water. Every cell, every organ, every process depends on proper hydration. When you deprive yourself of adequate fluids, you're not solving a sleep problem. You're creating a health problem. And here's the cruelest irony. Restricting water in the evening doesn't just fail to solve the problem for most people. It often makes it worse. This is the dehydration paradox, and it's one of the most misunderstood aspects of nighttime urination. When you are chronically dehydrated, your urine becomes much more concentrated. It has higher levels of waste products, salts, and other compounds. These compounds are irritating to the lining of your bladder. The result? You might produce less total urine, but the urge to go becomes much stronger and much more urgent. You can have a bladder that's only a third full, but it feels like it's completely full. This is why so many people cut back on water and still wake up just as often. They've reduced the volume, but increased the irritation. They've traded one problem for another. So, if water isn't the problem, what is? To understand this, you need to understand one of the most elegant and underappreciated systems in your entire body. It's your overnight fluid management system, and it relies on a single hormone that almost no one has ever heard of. It's called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short. Think of ADH as your body's nighttime water conservation manager. When everything is working correctly, as evening approaches and darkness falls, your brain releases more and more ADH. This hormone travels through your bloodstream to your kidneys, and it sends a very simple signal: slow down. Your kidneys receive this signal, and they dramatically reduce the amount of urine they produce. This allows you to sleep for 6, 7, even 8 hours straight, without needing to wake up. This system worked perfectly for most of your youth. But here's the problem. As you age, particularly after the age of 40, this system begins to change. The nighttime surge of ADH becomes weaker and weaker. The signal to your kidneys becomes quieter. Your kidneys don't get the message to slow down. They continue producing urine at almost the same rate they do during the day. This isn't a disease. It's not a sign that something is broken. It's a completely normal, almost universal change that happens to nearly everyone as they get older. But almost no one knows about it. So when this happens, you don't need to drink less water. You need to work with your body's new normal. You need to adjust your routine to compensate for this weaker signal. And that's where almost all of the common advice fails. It was designed for a 20-year-old's body, not a 50-year-old's body. Now, even with this weaker ADH signal, most people could still sleep through the night if it wasn't for one additional factor. A factor so large, so overlooked, that it is responsible for more nighttime bathroom trips than every other cause combined. This is the secret that almost no one talks about. The fluid that wakes you up at 2 a.m. often isn't something you drank at all. Let me explain. Throughout the day, whether you are sitting at a desk, standing at work, or even walking around, gravity is constantly pulling fluid downward. Over the course of 16 hours, a significant amount of fluid seeps out of your bloodstream and into the soft tissues of your lower legs and ankles. You might notice this as mild swelling. Your socks leave deeper impressions. Your shoes feel a little tighter at the end of the day. For many people, it's so mild they don't even notice it at all. This fluid is essentially parked. It's outside of your main circulation, sitting in the tissues of your legs. It's not in your bloodstream, so your kidneys don't process it. It's just there, waiting. Then you lie down flat in bed. Suddenly, gravity is no longer pulling that fluid downward. The force that was holding it in your legs all day is neutralized. Over the next 60 to 90 minutes, all of that accumulated fluid floods back into your bloodstream. It can be as much as a pint of extra fluid. Your kidneys detect this massive, sudden influx of fluid, and they respond exactly as they are designed to respond. They filter it out. They turn it into urine, and exactly 90 minutes after you lie down, your bladder is full. You wake up at 2 a.m., confused, wondering how you could possibly need to go to the bathroom again when you went right before bed. This is the single most common cause of nighttime urination, and almost no one knows it exists. This is why you can stop drinking water at 7 p.m., go to the bathroom at 11 p.m., and still wake up at 2 a.m. That fluid wasn't from anything you drank after 7 p.m. That fluid was in your legs at 7 p.m. This is also why so many people find that they sleep much better when they sleep in a recliner. When your upper body is elevated, gravity is still working against that fluid shift. You don't get that 90-minute flood of fluid into your bloodstream. This isn't some fringe theory. This is well-established physiology. It has been demonstrated in multiple clinical studies. In one study, researchers took a group of adults over 60 who were waking up an average of twice per night to use the bathroom. They asked half of them to do one simple thing: elevate their legs above heart level for 1 hour before bed. The results were remarkable. The group that elevated their legs reduced their nighttime bathroom trips by almost 50%. Many of them went from waking up twice per night to waking up 0 times per night. They didn't change how much water they drank. They didn't change their diet. They didn't take any medication. They just elevated their legs. This is the most powerful, most effective, most underutilized strategy for reducing nighttime bathroom trips, and it is almost never mentioned in any of the common advice. So how do you do it correctly? It's very simple, but there are a few common mistakes that make it far less effective. First, timing. You need to elevate your legs for at least 30 minutes, and ideally 60 minutes, before you go to sleep. This gives your body enough time to process all of that fluid before you lie down for the night. If you elevate your legs for 10 minutes right before bed, it won't do much. The fluid will still be entering your bloodstream as you fall asleep. Second, position. Your feet need to be above the level of your heart. This is non-negotiable. If you just prop your feet up on a coffee table so they are at the same level as your heart, it won't work. You need them to be higher. The easiest way to do this is to lie down on your bed or couch and place 2 or 3 firm pillows under your calves. Not under your feet, under your calves. You want your entire lower leg to be elevated so that fluid can drain smoothly back toward your body. If you have a recliner that can put your feet above your heart, that works even better. Third, don't skip this step, even if you don't notice any swelling. Most people have enough fluid pooling in their legs to cause a problem, even if they can't see it. You don't need to have puffy ankles for this to be affecting you. Fourth, combine it with a trip to the bathroom. After you finish elevating your legs, go to the bathroom one more time. This will empty out all of the fluid that was processed during that hour. This one simple change will make a bigger difference for more people than every other strategy combined. If you only take one thing away from this entire guide, let it be this: elevate your legs for 60 minutes before bed. If this sounds like something that might help you, let me know in the comments. I read every single comment, and I love hearing about what works for you. Now, as powerful as leg elevation is, it's only one piece of the puzzle. There are several other factors that can be sabotaging your sleep, and most of them are hiding in places you would never suspect. The next one is on your dinner plate, and it might be even more surprising than the fluid in your legs. Most people have absolutely no idea how much their dinner affects their nighttime bathroom trips. You can have the perfect hydration schedule. You can elevate your legs for an hour every single night. But if you eat the wrong thing at the wrong time, you will still wake up at 2 a.m. And the worst part is, most of the foods that cause this problem are not the obvious ones. Let's start with the single biggest dietary culprit: salt. When you eat salt, your body immediately works to restore balance. For every extra gram of sodium you consume, your body pulls about 100 milliliters of water out of your cells and tissues to dilute it. All of that extra water then heads straight to your kidneys. This effect is not immediate. It takes about 3 to 4 hours after a salty meal for that fluid to reach your bladder, which means if you eat a salty dinner at 7 p.m., the peak urine production will happen right around 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., exactly when you are trying to sleep. This is not a small effect. In one study, researchers had 2 groups of people eat the exact same meal. One group ate it at 5 p.m., the other ate it at 8 p.m. The group that ate later produced 30% more urine overnight. The exact same food, eaten 3 hours later, resulted in almost a third more urine. This is why the 3-hour food buffer is one of the most important rules for uninterrupted sleep. You need to finish your last large meal of the day at least 3 hours before you intend to go to sleep. This gives your body enough time to process the meal and manage the resulting fluid shifts while you are still awake and active. But salt is only half the story. Sugar has an almost identical effect through a completely different mechanism. When you eat sugar or refined carbohydrates late in the evening, your blood sugar spikes. Your body responds by producing insulin to bring that blood sugar back down. One of the side effects of this process is increased urine production. Even a single bowl of ice cream after dinner can add an extra trip to the bathroom overnight. Then, there are the hidden diuretics. These are foods that naturally increase urine production, and most people have no idea they exist. Caffeine and alcohol are the obvious ones, but even many healthy foods have this effect. Celery, asparagus, watermelon, cucumbers, ginger, and even garlic are all mild diuretics. None of them are bad for you, but if you eat a large plate of them for dinner, they will increase your urine production overnight. Even something as innocent as a cup of herbal tea can be a problem. Many popular herbal teas, including dandelion, peppermint, and green tea, have mild diuretic effects. This doesn't mean you need to eliminate any of these foods from your diet. It just means you should eat them earlier in the day. Save the celery sticks and watermelon for lunch, not dinner. Now, let's talk about the obvious ones that everyone knows, but almost everyone underestimates. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours. That means if you drink a cup of coffee at 2 p.m., half of that caffeine is still in your system at 8 p.m. A quarter of it is still in your system at 2 a.m. And caffeine doesn't just keep you awake. It directly stimulates kidney function, increasing urine production by as much as 30%. That afternoon coffee is not just affecting your ability to fall asleep. It is actively filling your bladder while you are trying to sleep. Alcohol is even worse. Alcohol completely suppresses ADH, that hormone we talked about earlier that tells your kidneys to slow down at night. Even 1 glass of wine with dinner can reduce your ADH production by 50% for several hours. This is why so many people fall asleep quickly after drinking, but wake up 2 or 3 hours later and can't get back to sleep. The alcohol has worn off, but your kidneys have been working overtime the entire time. So, what should you eat in the evening? The ideal evening meal is low in sodium, low in sugar, and moderate in protein and healthy fat. Foods like chicken, fish, eggs, sweet potatoes, and green vegetables are all excellent choices. They have a minimal effect on your body's fluid balance. If you need a snack before bed, choose something that is almost entirely protein and fat. A small handful of almonds, a hard-boiled egg, or a tablespoon of peanut butter. These foods will not spike your blood sugar, and they will have almost no impact on your urine production. Now, let's move on to one of the most surprising and counterintuitive factors of all: the temperature of your bedroom. Almost every sleep expert on the planet will tell you that a cool bedroom is better for sleep. And for the most part, they are right. But there is a line, and if you cross that line, your cool bedroom will be the reason you are waking up every night. This is called cold-induced diuresis, and almost no one has ever heard of it. Here is how it works. Your body's number one priority is protecting its core temperature. If your skin gets too cold, your body initiates a protective response. The blood vessels in your arms and legs constrict, pushing warm blood inward toward your vital organs. This sudden increase in blood volume in your core registers with your kidneys as excess fluid. They respond by filtering more aggressively, producing more urine to reduce what they perceive as dangerous pressure buildup. You are not urinating because you drank too much. You are urinating because your thermostat convinced your body it needed to dump fluid for survival. This effect is so powerful that even a small drop in skin temperature can increase urine production by 20%. This is why so many people report that they sleep much better when they wear socks to bed. It seems like a tiny, trivial thing, but it makes an enormous difference. When your feet are warm, the blood vessels in your feet dilate. This pulls blood away from your core, reducing the central blood pressure that triggers your kidneys to produce more urine. The ideal bedroom temperature is somewhere between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But more important than the temperature is how warm your skin feels. If you are wearing light pajamas and socks, you can sleep comfortably at 65 degrees without triggering cold-induced diuresis. If you are sleeping naked, you will need the temperature to be closer to 70. The rule is simple. If you ever feel even slightly chilled when you're in bed, your kidneys are working harder than they need to be. Now, let's talk about another simple technique that can add 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted sleep to your night. It's called double voiding, and it is so simple that almost no one does it. Here is the problem. As you age, the muscles in your bladder and pelvic floor weaken slightly. This means that when you go to the bathroom, you almost never completely empty your bladder. There is almost always a small amount of urine left behind. This is called post-void residual volume. For most people over 40, it is between 1 and 3 ounces. That doesn't sound like much, but it is enough to make a huge difference. When you go to the bathroom right before bed, you feel completely empty. But there are 2 ounces of urine still in your bladder. Over the next 2 hours, your kidneys produce another 2 ounces. Suddenly your bladder has 4 ounces in it, which is enough to wake you up. If you had emptied that extra 2 ounces before bed, you would have slept for an extra 2 hours. Double voiding is the solution, and it is extremely simple. Roughly 20 minutes before you plan to go to sleep, go to the bathroom normally. Don't rush. Sit for an extra 10 or 15 seconds to make sure you have emptied as much as possible. Then go back to your bedtime routine. Brush your teeth. Set out your clothes. Read a few pages. Right before you get into bed, go back to the bathroom. Even if you feel absolutely no urge to go, sit down, relax completely, and wait 10 or 15 seconds. Almost every single time, you will be able to urinate a little bit more. That extra ounce or two is the difference between waking up at 2 a.m. and sleeping until 6 a.m. This technique is so effective that it is recommended by almost every urologist for people with nighttime urination. And yet, almost no one outside of a urologist's office has ever heard of it. In one study, double voiding reduced nighttime bathroom trips by an average of 40%. That is a bigger effect than many prescription medications. And it takes absolutely zero extra time, zero effort, and zero cost. If you only tried 2 things from this entire guide, try leg elevation and double voiding. For 80% of people, those 2 things alone will cut their nighttime bathroom trips in half or better. If this is information you wish you had known years ago, please take a second to hit the like button. It helps this guide reach more people who are lying awake tonight, frustrated and exhausted, not knowing there is a simple solution. Now, we have covered the 3 biggest causes of nighttime urination, but there's one more factor that is almost as important, and it is the one that most people get completely wrong: hydration timing. Earlier, we established that drinking less water is not the solution, but that doesn't mean that when you drink water doesn't matter. It matters a great deal. Most people have their hydration completely backward. They sip very little water throughout the morning and afternoon, then suddenly realize at dinner that they are thirsty, and drink 3 glasses of water in the space of an hour. This is the worst possible way to hydrate if you want to sleep through the night. Your kidneys can only process so much fluid at one time. If you drink a large amount of fluid all at once, a lot of it will end up in your bladder a few hours later. The solution is to front-load your hydration. Drink the vast majority of your water earlier in the day, when your kidneys are most efficient and you have plenty of time to process it before bed. The ideal hydration schedule looks like this. Drink 75% of your daily water before 2 p.m. Drink 20% of your daily water between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Drink only 5% of your daily water after 6 p.m. This means that if you drink 8 glasses of water per day, 6 of them are before 2 p.m., 1.5 are between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., and half a glass is after 6 p.m. This schedule ensures that you are fully hydrated, but you give your kidneys almost 6 hours to process almost all of your daily fluid intake before you go to sleep. Most people who try this are shocked at how little thirst they feel in the evening. When you hydrate properly throughout the day, you don't get that sudden, overwhelming thirst at dinner time. And if you do feel thirsty in the evening, it is perfectly fine to take small sips of water. You don't need to be completely dry. You just need to avoid drinking large amounts. This is the difference between intelligent hydration and deprivation. You are drinking the same total amount of water. You are just drinking it at the times when your body can handle it best. Now, there's one more simple ritual that can make a surprising difference. It is a warm foot bath before bed. We already talked about how cold feet cause vasoconstriction and increase urine production. A warm foot bath does the exact opposite. When you soak your feet in warm water for 10 to 15 minutes before bed, the blood vessels in your feet and lower legs dilate. This pulls blood away from your core, reducing central blood pressure and telling your kidneys to slow down. It also has the added benefit of relaxing you and helping you fall asleep faster. The ideal temperature is between 100 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Not hot enough to be uncomfortable, just pleasantly warm. You can add Epsom salts or a few drops of lavender oil if you want, but it is not necessary. The warm water alone is enough. When you are done, dry your feet thoroughly and immediately put on a pair of warm socks. This locks in the warmth and maintains the circulatory benefit for several hours. This is a perfect addition to your pre-sleep routine. You can elevate your legs for 45 minutes, then soak your feet for 15 minutes, then do your double void. That entire routine takes 1 hour, and it will set you up for the best night of sleep you have had in years. At this point, we have covered almost every major cause of nighttime urination and almost every major solution. But there is one more step that will take your results from good to great, and that is becoming your own health detective. Everyone's body is different. What works perfectly for one person might not work as well for another. The only way to know exactly what is causing your nighttime bathroom trips is to track your patterns. For 5 to 7 days, keep a simple log. You don't need anything fancy, just a notebook or a note on your phone. Write down every time you drink something and approximately how much, every time you eat a meal or a snack, every time you go to the bathroom during the day, every time you wake up to go to the bathroom at night. After 5 days, you will see patterns that you never would have noticed otherwise. You might discover that every time you have pasta for dinner, you wake up twice that night. You might discover that your 3 p.m. cup of tea is the single biggest cause of your nighttime waking. You might discover that on days you walk for 30 minutes, you sleep much better. This information is incredibly powerful. It allows you to make small, targeted changes that have a huge impact. It is also extremely valuable information if you ever decide to talk to your doctor about this problem. Most doctors have almost no information about your daily habits, and a simple log can help them identify the cause much faster. Now, before we wrap up, we need to talk about one very important thing: when to see a doctor. Everything we have talked about so far is for people who have mild to moderate nighttime urination that is caused by normal age-related changes and lifestyle habits. But frequent nighttime urination can also be a sign of an underlying medical condition. If you are waking up more than 3 times per night, if the problem started very suddenly, or if you have other symptoms like pain, burning, or difficulty urinating, you should see a doctor. Conditions like an enlarged prostate, diabetes, heart disease, and sleep apnea can all cause frequent nighttime urination. And these conditions require medical treatment. The strategies we have talked about will almost always help, even if you have one of these conditions. But they are not a replacement for proper medical care. You should also never stop or adjust any medication you are taking without talking to your doctor first. Many common medications, including blood pressure medications and antidepressants, can increase nighttime urination. Your doctor may be able to adjust your dosage or switch you to a different medication. Now, let's put all of this together into a simple step-by-step routine that you can start tonight. This is your complete daily protocol for uninterrupted sleep. Morning: drink the majority of your daily water within the first 6 hours of waking. Afternoon: Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Try to take a 10-minute walk to reduce fluid pooling in your legs. Evening. Finish your last large meal at least 3 hours before bed. Avoid salty, sugary, or diuretic foods after 6 p.m. 1 hour before bed, elevate your legs above heart level for 60 minutes. 15 minutes before bed, soak your feet in warm water for 10 to 15 minutes. Put on warm socks. 10 minutes before bed, go to the bathroom for the first time. Right before bed, go to the bathroom for the second time. Keep your bedroom between 65 and 70 degrees and wear socks to bed. You don't need to implement all of these at once. Start with the two most powerful ones, leg elevation and double voiding. Do those for 1 week, and you will almost certainly see a huge improvement. Then, add one more strategy each week until you have built the complete routine. Most people who follow this routine see a 50 to 75% reduction in their nighttime bathroom trips within the first 2 weeks. Many people are able to sleep through the entire night for the first time in decades. This is not some magic trick. This is just understanding how your body works and working with it instead of against it. For years, you have been told that the solution is to drink less water. For years, you have been depriving yourself and still waking up tired. Now you know the truth. Water is not the enemy. The enemy is a routine that is working against your body's natural rhythms. You don't have to accept nighttime bathroom trips as an inevitable part of getting older. You don't have to be tired every single day. You can sleep through the night. You can wake up feeling rested and restored. And you can start tonight. If this guide has helped you, please hit the like button. It helps this message reach more people who need it. And if you know someone who is struggling with nighttime bathroom trips, please share this with them. It might be the best thing you'll ever do for them. Subscribe to Wellness Secrets for more simple, practical health guides like this one. And leave a comment below. Let me know if you try any of these strategies and how they work for you. I read every single comment. Sleep well. You deserve it.